The U.S. Navy just sent its most advanced warships to the Caribbean. Venezuela says it's a threat. Washington says it's a mission against drug traffickers. So, what's the truth behind this sudden military move? The Caribbean has always been more than a tropical paradise. It's a strategic gateway between North and South America. For decades, the United States has seen this region as part of its security backyard, dating back to the Monroe Doctrine of the 1800s. Venezuela, sitting right on the northern edge of South America, controls access to vital shipping lanes and holds one of the world's largest oil reserves. That makes it not only an economic prize, but also a geopolitical flashpoint. In the past, tensions between Washington and Caracas have flared over oil, sanctions, and political influence.
We're here to proclaim a new day is coming in Latin America. It's coming.
Since the early 2000s, leaders like Hugo Chavez and later Nicolas Maduro have positioned Venezuela as a counterweight to U.S. dominance, often backed by Russia and China. Fast forward to 2025, rising instability, reports of Russian military deliveries, and accusations of narco-trafficking have brought the old rivalry back to life. And this time, the U.S. Navy isn't watching from afar. It's right on Venezuela's doorstep. In early 2025, Washington turned its focus back to Venezuela. In March, President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on any country that kept buying Venezuelan oil, a clear signal to isolate Maduro's government. By August, the pressure moved from words to action. Trump authorized the U.S. military to target so-called transnational drug cartels across Latin America, and the bounty on Nicolas Maduro rose to $50 million. Maduro accused Washington of planning an invasion and ordered more than 4 million militia members to prepare for coastal defense. Then came the ships. U.S. destroyers appeared in the southern Caribbean under the banner of an anti-narcotics mission. Few believe that explanation. And on September 2nd, an American warship struck a vessel accused of drug smuggling from Venezuela, killing 11 people. It was the moment when a war of words turned into a confrontation at sea. In late 2025, Washington took the next step. The Pentagon announced that the USS Gerald R. carrier strike group was sent toward the Caribbean, joining destroyers already patrolling the region. Officially, the mission was to expand maritime surveillance and cut off drug routes linked to Venezuela. Just days before the announcement, Russian cargo planes, Il-76 transports, were spotted landing near Caracas. Moscow claimed they were delivering defensive systems to support Venezuela's air defenses, including components for Pantsir and S-300 batteries. Analysts warned that the situation was starting to look like something bigger than a counter-narcotics operation, a modern echo of Cold War posturing playing out just a few hundred miles from U.S. shores. Caracas celebrated the Russian support as proof it wasn't standing alone. State media showed images of troops training with newly arrived systems and declared that Venezuela was ready to defend its revolution. Meanwhile, Washington framed the deployment as a message, not just to drug traffickers, but to Moscow and Beijing, that the Caribbean remains firmly within America's sphere of influence. For now, both sides insist they don't want a direct conflict. Yet, with warships, bombers, and foreign weapons moving closer to Venezuelan shores, the line between deterrence and escalation is getting thinner. Inside Venezuela, the mood has shifted. Officially, President Nicolas Maduro vows to resist any imperialist aggression. But reports from Caracas suggest a quieter tone behind closed doors. Government sources have hinted that military units along the coast were ordered to avoid direct contact with U.S. forces. At the same time, Maduro has struck a more diplomatic note. In recent speeches, he publicly invited former President Trump to dialogue.
Not war, not war, not war. Just peace, just peace, just peace, forever, forever, forever. Peace forever.
Still, on the ground, tension remains high. Fishing fleets are staying in port, fuel convoys are rerouted inland, and civilians fear being caught in a U.S. strike. Even within the Army, morale is said to be low after months of economic strain and sanctions. Analysts say it's not surrender, but caution. Venezuela may stand firm in its words, yet its actions and its sudden calls for peace revealed a government under heavy pressure, trying to buy time as superpowers close in around its shores. The standoff in the Caribbean has entered a fragile phase. U.S. warships remain on patrol, Russian transports continue their deliveries, and both sides insist they're acting defensively. But every new movement, a radar lock, a misread signal, risks tipping this into open conflict. For Washington, the message is clear: the Caribbean must not become another outpost for Moscow. The question now isn't just about drugs or oil. It's about influence, proximity, and power projection, a contest that feels less like a mission against traffickers and more like the rebirth of a Cold War set under the Caribbean sun. And as one analyst put it this week, the closer the ships sail, the thinner the diplomacy becomes.